I'm going to start by making a logic jump, drawing a conclusion. You have a story to tell. Of course you do. We all do. In fact, we have millions of stories, little experiences that start with a beginning, a middle, and an end, the basic definition of a story. But as we grow up, we have a myriad of experiences that draw little conclusions on who we are today. And I want to talk a little today about how authors reframe stories and how you can use that to change your life. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. It's a 4-letter word. Don't tell anybody. Okay, I'll tell you. It's edit. Now, for many of us, we believe the magic in being an author is letting the words go from your head down your arms and come out magically on the screen. And that is the beautiful part. That's the creative part that we get to do when we write. But the real work comes in the second phase, when we edit. Authors look at every single word, every single fact, every single little story within their writing to make sure that moves their story along. And when you use that technique for your own story, you get to change your story and move it along as well. For example, I was asked at an event why I wanted to be a public speaker. Now, for most of us, we know that the world's worst fear, the number one fear of people, is public speaking. But I'm choosing to become a public speaker. Why is that? And the answer was simple. I want to find my voice. Think about that. My background is communication. I've spent a career helping hundreds of thousands of executives tell their story. I've written for them. I've been a ghostwriter. I've had things appear in major national media. So why am I trying to find my voice? Well, the secret for me was to find out that I wasn't telling my story. I was telling theirs. So my voice was their voice. And in this new transition, I wanted to hear my voice. So I start to look at those stories that make me get constricted when I'm trying to speak and measure them. So one of those stories happened when I was a child. I'm the middle child of 7. Think about 7 kids around a table eating spaghetti and getting very loud. And I remember hearing my father boom out saying, "Nobody wants to hear from you." I took it to heart. As a child, I believed him. But when I took that story out as an adult and I looked at it, I can understand why he would have said it. As an adult, my perspective changes. And interestingly enough, just recently, I was in a car driving to an event with a number of friends, and I related that as we were talking about things our parents say. And my colleague sitting next to me started laughing, and she said, "Here you are in a car with a bunch of women, and we want to hear from you." So again, it was another way to reframe my story. We get to do this every day. It's simple. Remember the stories that you love. Remember the stories that you live. And remember the stories that you hide. Those are the ones with secrets. Now, why would you want to do that? Because we show up in the world based on those stories and those experiences. The second thing I want to tell you is to be confident. And you might ask, how do you do that? If I've been living with this since the day of dawn, how do I change that? Well, it's looking at those stories from a perspective that's new, and then owning it, stepping into it, understanding that those stories made the uniqueness of you. Because here's another secret. There's nobody in the world that has my mom and dad, my brothers and sisters, my experiences, my education, my work life, my social life. Nobody has that unique combination, and the same is true for you. That makes us unique. So when we step into our confidence, we get to relate something important to the rest of the world. So 2 things I'd like to leave you with. Remember to be the author of your life. Reframe those stories using today's perspective. Understand how they make you who you are today. And number 2, step into your confidence. Own it. Those stories are important, maybe not as much to you, you think, but to the people around you, because they're going to learn from it. We all have stories to tell. We all have stories to live. And I, for one, am looking forward to hearing your story.